Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of The Explainer. Today, we're diving into an absolutely brilliant engineering goal. We are going to build a fully automated smart classroom completely from scratch. And the absolute best part, we're going to design, wire, and test this entire architecture using the Wokwi simulator before we ever even touch a single physical wire. To pull this off, we're taking a strict bottom-up approach. Here is our roadmap. We'll start with a smart classroom vision. Look at our hardware and components, map out the circuit wiring and protocols, build the program logic and workflow, run some real-world simulation testing, and wrap up with key takeaways and scaling. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The Smart Classroom Vision. Okay, let's dive into this. Every great engineering project starts by nailing down the core problem, right? So here is our big objective. We're designing a system for a bustling educational environment that seamlessly handles attendance, access control, and room lighting. But here's the catch, and it's a crucial one. All of these systems have to be completely validated in our software simulation before we even think about touching a physical piece of hardware. To make that vision a reality, we can break our project down into 4 key pillars. First up, we need RFID attendance logging to just automatically scan student ID cards. Second, RTC time validation. This enforces class schedules and flags anyone walking in late. Third, we've got servo-driven door automation, meaning the room only unlocks for authorized, on-time students. And finally, relay-controlled automatic lighting, which turns the lights on based on the actual student count. Put it all together, and you've got a highly secure, energy-efficient learning environment. Section 2. Hardware and components. Now that we have our blueprint, let's meet the hardware cast that's going to make this all happen. To make these technical specs super easy to grasp, let's just think of our system as a living, breathing anatomy. First up, the brain and the eyes of our operation. Over on the left is our brain, the ESP32 dev kit. This is a dual-core powerhouse that handles all our Wi-Fi and BLE. On the right, acting as our system's eyes, is the RFID RC522. This little module reads 13.56 MHz student cards and shoots everything back to the brain via a blazing fast SPI interface. Next up, we need an internal clock. This is the DS3231 RTC module. I mean, an automated classroom is totally useless if it doesn't know what time class actually starts, right? So, this highly precise real-time clock acts as our enforcer for the schedule, communicating time data directly to our ESP32 through a super reliable I2C connection. Of course, every body needs muscles, and for our classroom, those are actuators. On the left, the SG90 servo motor is basically our digital bouncer. We control it via PWM signal, and it physically sweeps 0 to 90 degrees to operate the door latch. On the right, we have the 5-volt relay module. This takes a simple digital signal and acts as the heavy-duty switch, safely managing the high-voltage AC classroom lighting. Finally, we need a way for humans to interact with the system. The 16:2 LCD screen on the left shares the I2C bus with our clock and acts as the system's voice, giving us real-time status messages. And on the right, the TSOP1738 IR receiver acts as the ears for the teacher. It literally listens for remote control inputs using the NEC protocol, which allows for manual faculty overrides. Pretty cool, right? Section 3. Circuit wiring and protocols. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we wire all these anatomical parts together into a central nervous system. And honestly, the beauty of the Wokwi simulator is that we get to double-check all these pins virtually. Notice how incredibly efficient the SP32 is at managing entirely different communication protocols all at the same time. The RFID module demands 4 specific GPIO pins for its high-speed SPI connection. Meanwhile, the RTC and the LCD display elegantly share just 2 pins, pins 21 and 22, because they both use the I2C protocol. We then carve out distinct pins for our PWM servo signal and our digital relay trigger. Getting this mapped out is absolutely crucial before we write a single line of code. Section 4. Program logic and workflow. With the physical wiring simulated, we need to pivot to the invisible firmware engine, the actual program logic that brings this whole classroom to life. We structure our code as a deterministic state machine. Basically, that means we take a complex coding concept and turn it into a highly predictable, continuous 4-phase loop. Phase 1 is input. It's constantly polling for an RFID card or an IR signal. Phase 2 is verify, checking that scanned UID against our database and glancing at the clock. Phase 3 is decide, figuring out if the student is on time, late, or if a teacher is forcing an override. And finally, Phase 4 is actuate, physically moving the door, flipping the lights on, and updating the LCD. Let's trace the full journey of a single card scan. A student scans their card, the ESP32 reads the UID via SPI, matches it up, and checks the RTC time. At step 5, the system essentially forks autonomously. If the student is on time, it pops the door, turns on the lights, and updates the LCD counter. But if they're late, it halts at step 5B, flashes a late message, and just waits for step 6, which is the faculty pressing their IR remote. It is this beautiful, seamless flow where autonomous decisions are made at every single checkpoint without missing a beat. Section 5. Real-world simulation testing. Okay, all the theory and code are locked in. Now we introduce day-in-the-life testing, where we throw our technical architecture at highly relatable classroom situations. So ask yourself, based on the logic flow we just built, what exactly happens when a punctual, authorized student walks up and scans their card? Let's check out the simulation output. Boom, exactly as planned. The system confirms a valid UID was scanned within the proper time window. The Wokwi simulator lights up with a bright green screen displaying attendance accepted. Instantly, the servo motor sweeps to 90 degrees to unlock the door, the relay clicks the lights on, and the student count goes up by 1. Flawless. But let's contrast that success with, say, an unauthorized visitor. If an unknown card is scanned, the logic instantly branches to our denial state. The simulator triggers a bright red access denied, fires off a red LED, and blares a very unforgiving buzzer alert. Meanwhile, the servo stays right at 0 degrees. That door is remaining firmly locked. No way they're getting in. Now what about the gray areas? Look on the left here. A recognized student arrives, but the RTC knows they're past the class start time. The system flags a late entry wait state, and the door stays locked. But over on the right, the teacher sees the student, points the remote, and sends the NEC protocol signal to the IR receiver. The system immediately accepts the manual override, the LCD switches to permission granted, and the door swings open. Just seamless edge case handling right there. And this brilliantly illustrates our expected outputs matrix. It proves exactly how deterministic and reliable our system really is. Every single scenario, whether they're on time, invalid, late, or an override, maps perfectly to a very specific, repeatable combination of LCD feedback, servo position, and relay state. There is zero guesswork here, just pure logic. Section 6, Key Takeaways and Scaling. So let's summarize our simulation results and talk about the real-world value of the architecture we've just spent time building together. Look at this beautifully complex wiring state. The absolute crucial takeaway here is that mastering rapid embedded prototyping in Wokwi allows us to untangle all this complexity virtually. Because we've already verified our SPI, I2C, and PWM signals in software, our eventual deployment to actual physical hardware is going to be vastly more efficient and virtually bug-free. Let's do a super quick recap of the incredibly robust stack of communication protocols and hardware modules we've mastered in this single explainer. We've bridged high-speed SPI with the RFID, precise I2C timing with the RTC, mechanical PWM control with the servo, digital AC switching with the relay, and even decoded NEC infrared signals. And we integrated the whole shebang seamlessly into an ESP32 microcontroller. Which leaves us with one final provocative thought. The logic architecture we built today is entirely scalable. If we can successfully simulate, debug, and automate a single smart classroom today, what entire campus ecosystem could we automate tomorrow? Think about how this applies to huge industrial access points or massive commercial buildings. It's a real game changer. Before you go out and build the future, please remember to ensure your Wokwi project link and source code are submitted via the lab portal before our next session. Keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.